discussed yesterday for a few minutes. How the second chapter is the most important chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam because it is the most essential thing because it is giving the thesis. It explains that bhakti is complete, perfect, independent and nothing else is needed for self-awareness. And the questions for the answers, which are the universal questions, essence of all the scriptures, and what makes a living entity completely satisfied. We heard how Srimad Bhagavatam is the key for understanding second chapter is the key for understanding whole Bhagavatam. And we saw the first section is how Sukadeva Goswami, the sages of Naimisharanya who are they were performing sacrifices, and in between the sacrifices there is a recitation of Puranas. This happens normally now also. Any yajnas are done, there will be recitation of Puranas. So Suta Goswami, they were having this recitation. So Suta Goswami was taking all other Puranas. But then they all stopped all the yajnas. They decided it's not working. And then they sat and they called Suta Goswami, now you tell what is the essence of scriptures, what is going to really satisfy us. Now, for all other Puranas, he prays Narana, Rishi, Devi Saraswati, Vyasam and all. But when he starts speaking about Bhagavatam, then he offers prayers to Sukadeva Goswami because from him he heard. Now, this is what we discussed. And when he asked what is the real good, this is what we should ask. Srila Prabhupada also said these are the questions. And the first answer he gives, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Radokshya. Ahaitaki apratyata yayatma suprasidati, and then Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janatya Suvairagya Jnanam Chadahitam. Now from 6th and 7th are the thesis. That is what is Sukadeva Goswami said. This is the answer. That's all. And to establish that there is antithesis, what is not, and he explains this proves what he said. To prove that 6 to 7, he speaks 8 to 14 verses. And then we have seen how, of course, we are going to discuss on these verses in detail, a little bit whatever Prabhupada has said, and how to increase the devotion in our heart. That is discussed from 16th onwards. And 15th is, we said, it's an intermediate verse connecting. And from 16th onwards till 21st, we have to by heart all these 5 verses because this is the basis of bhakti, how the bhakti progresses, and all the verses need to be by hearted. We will try to learn them. Maybe after just this introduction, we will just recite few verses from the second chapter, and we will try to memorize them. And then there he starts, there Vishnu Chakra Thakur explains how there are 14 stages of bhakti from 16 to 21st. And 22nd is the conclusion which Sukadeva Goswami gives. And 22 to 29, he explains what is not to be done. We should not worship various demigods and other things are not needed. Just bhakti. And now 30 is another intermediate verse, and after that he answers the 4th question. So this we were discussing, just summarizing what is there. This verse, he answers the 4th question. What is the 3rd question is why Krishna appeared. Instead of answering why Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki and Sanna Vasudeva, he first answers why we are caught up in this material world. Once we know we are caught up, then we will know why Krishna appeared. So that was his way of answering. And the 4th question is basically what is the Purusha, Leelas in Purusha avatar of the Lord. So this is Srishti Leela. That is also Leela of the Lord. So this is explained. Now we are just discussing that the entire Srimad Bhagavatam explains the nature of bhakti, and everything else follows from this topic only, bhakti in one way and another. And we have discussed how to understanding how we are caught is very important to know how we get out. So for this, even Bhakti Sandarbha also, Jiva Goswami, he takes this verse. he takes this chapter as the basis for explaining, and for that he explains why we need bhakti. To know why we need bhakti, we have to know where are we. The first we had to know the diagnosis. If we are saying bhakti is the medicine, we should know what is the problem, what is the disease. So we'll just discuss in few words. This is the shloka from the 11th canto, very famous verse. Bhayam dityada bidveshakasya dishada vedasya upariyasve. This shloka is giving an answer. It's like a explanation of the verse of Savai Pumsam Parodharma. Because why we need the dharma Savai Pumsam? Because we are caught up like this. And how we are caught up it? So this verse explains that the diagnosis of all the problems is ignorance. But how ignorance comes? So the shloka goes like, as soon as the living entity turns away from Krishna, he immediately attracted by Maya. And Maya envelops him and puts in his heart this ignorance. What happens is that two things appears. A person starts focusing on secondary things, and he develops the qualities. What type of qualities appears as soon as we turn away from Krishna? And then three things. First is we start uh, we start focusing on something non-important. This is actually what happens. I spend time on all other nonsense, and because of this, there are three: fear, perverse memory, and perverse consciousness. So this is what happens. These are the qualities that appear. And then what happens is then we start becoming afraid of. There is fear all the time for all living entities, who are for animals, humans. We have this fear, and because this is very important for us to know, to understand this Savai Pumsam shloka, because it is very helpful to understand why, and we have to have very very clear understanding of these two shlokas, Savai Pumsam Parodharma and Vasudeva Bhagavati, because that is the main answer, and based on that only whole Bhagavatam is there. And to get more and more, of course we can discuss so much on it, but few things. First, this is a solution for the problem, so we should know what is the problem. Because when they are asking, tell us the solution, we should know what is the problem. The problem is, first we are spending our time on something with unimportant and focusing on something unimportant. Second is, there is a fear. Why there is fear? Because I want keep everything. I know that I cannot keep everything. Everything is getting out of my hand. Samsara means which slips from our hand. More you hold, more it slips. That is samsara. The whole life, there is a person is proceeded from one fear to another. There are emotions, insecurity, desire to maintain the status quo, and inability to do all these things. And all the psychology, everything grows from this verse only. How we are fear. And then the third thing, what happens is the three things that happens if you turn away from Krishna. Third thing is there is a perverse consciousness. Consciousness means we are then we start behaving in a different way. There is karma, and we can see all these different habits, and everything else is the third thing. After that, fear comes. The resultant is we behave in a particular way. There are so many complexities and all these things. Is third thing that what happens, which we are in situation. Now, what is the key? It is the whole thing is built on this. Okay, what should be done now? What is the disease? The disease is indifference. We are turning away from Krishna, then all these things are happening. Now, what is the solution? Just turn back to Krishna. And how? Read Bhagavatam, perform bhakti. This is the solution. So it's quite simple. So the disease in general is we are not caring about Krishna. Now, what we should do? Bhakti is start caring about Krishna. The bhakti is exactly opposite. If we are indifferent to Krishna, all these problems are there. Now you become Krishna Unmukh, and Krishna, we turn towards Krishna. Bhakti is love, it is connection. All offenses are also being inattentive for chanting, inattentive while hearing. When we sleep in Bhagavatam, it is an offense to Bhagavatam. When we are worshipping deities, when we chant, when we are sleeping, chant, it's an offense. And we all want this, and that is, we want to get rid of these things. Now, when can the soul be satisfied? The when only when this boredom and indifference in the heart is replaced by ecstatic love, then we are completely satisfied. So we are indifferent now. This boredom, indifferent. That's why many people, they are unhappy because they don't like what they are doing. His heart is not satisfied. But when we replace it with ecstatic love, that's what. And this is what is the solution given by our acharyas, especially Jiva Goswami. We have to understand the problem, and that's why savai pumsam paro dharmo ito bhaktir adokshija. It's quite clear. First is, I should admit that I am sick, and then we have perverted consciousness, we are indifferent, and we are all this. We are, how do we know I have all these things? Because we have attraction to computers, televisions, and our mobile, and all these things. We are focused on many other things other than Krishna. Like now, then we have discussed this part, and now we may say, there are other paths also, no? That's with the second shloka. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatyasu Vairagyam Jnana Chadayatikam. So what we will do, we will discuss this shloka little every day, because at a time if we discuss it, we will finish all our time. We have to read purports also, because these are the important shlokas. So maybe tomorrow also I will again take few points from this shloka, especially the second shloka. But I'll just share few things. Now we may say, hey, what about other processes? Okay, heart is not satisfied, we are diseased, that we all agree. But why not other processes? Why not karma? Why not jnana? And because we should be broad-minded, we are progressive humanity. So now karma, the path of karma and jnana, they also give so many things. They also purify. So what about them? And no, bhakti is only to Vasudev. No need of any other things. And janayati asu vairagyam jnanam. This is important discussion. Just a few points I'll tell on that. Now, karma is the path of selflessness and path of development of selflessness, because they are attached to some activity in this world, and we are slaves to it. We do in a selfless way and try to get rid of it. So that's how we try to do in the path of karma. And jnana is basically an observer. Is give example of a lab. There is experiment some people are doing. So people are who are doing experiments with chemicals, liquids, this, that, they're all karmis. And a jnani is a superintendent of that lab. He is only observing. He'll bring his tea and he will sit and he will drink tea and he's seeing everybody how they are doing. And he thinks these people are foolish. They are just unnecessarily working like this. So this is completely, he is just observing. He's a jnani type. So, but this is, and he realizes from inside that everything is a slavery. No need of all these things. This is how we. And then we have bhakti. That is what Sutta Goswami is telling. That bhakti is madness in one way, because if you see, our greatest teacher of bhakti is Lord Chaitanya. Because bhakti means emotions. It's in a more subtler level. It's on a gross level. We have physical, mental, where the thoughts are there. That is one level. Desires are there, which is more subtle level. It is a level of vasanas, and then there is spiritual level. So at the level of vasanas can be touched only when we perform bhakti, and above that the emotional, spiritual emotions and all. And now, here Ahituki Bhakti. Maybe tomorrow we'll discuss. We'll just read the purports, and before that we will recite some shlokas, which are very important. Maybe we'll do the first, the most three shlokas. We'll try to learn these three shlokas, and then we will every day we'll do few shlokas. Maybe three times we'll recite, so that we will try to memorize. If somebody knows, they can try to meditate on the meaning, and if somebody does not know, it will help them to memorize them. So 3 times we will read. And another technique of learning the shlokas is first you read first line and repeat it 3 times. Then second line repeat 3 times. Then together read 2 lines, repeat 3 times. Then fourth line and fifth line, and then sorry, third and fourth line and repeat together, and whole shloka repeat 3 times. So in that way we memorize. And another important technique for memorizing is learn the meaning. So what does this savai pumsa paro dharma? So pumsa means what? Mankind. Paro dharma means what? Okay, dharma. Paro means sublime dharma. So yato bhaktir. So by learning the meaning also, we will be able to memorize the shloka. We can recollect the words like that. So we'll just read few shlokas three times, and then we will go for uh, these 4 shlokas. We will read the 4 shlokas which we have discussed yesterday, because whole chapter, all the shlokas are involved. Almost we have only 34 shlokas I think in this chapter. But at least the first 20 shlokas from 6th onwards, 6 to 21 shlokas are very 20 to 23. They are very important. We will try. Oh, how many? And then 8th chapter is also like that. There are many shlokas Kunti Maharani's plays which are very important. Maybe at least 20 shlokas we should learn them. But other chapters there are very few. But some chapters like this, and second and eighth we have maximum shlokas to learn. So we can other shlokas 3, 4 like that. It's quite simple. Some shloka, some chapters we have only 1, 2 shlokas to learn, but these chapters are very important. So we can make little endeavor in this 2 chapter, because they are telling the basic principles. Because every time we need, even if somebody want to preach, or even not only preaching, for own personal understanding of Shastras, these shlokas are very important, and we'll see Prabhupada recited this, he quoted this shloka many times all over Bhagavatam, purports and classes and all like that. So, is it okay? I'm quite fast, or you are okay with my speed? Okay. Okay. So we will just recite. Savai pumsam paro dharmo यतो भक्तिरदोक्षजे अहैतुकीय प्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरदोक्षजे अहैतुकी अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरदोक्षजे ahaitikya pratihata yatma suprasidati. You're okay with this style, or anybody has any comments? You're okay with this way of doing, or you want any other pattern? You can just suggest. I'm just reading. These shlokas we have to learn only. Don't have option. Okay. Okay. You can say yes. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah जनयत्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च यदहैतुकम् वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगः प्रयोजितः जनयत्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च यदहैतुकम् वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगः प्रयोजितः जनयत्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च यदहैतुकम्. What you can do, you can, there is one important technique, you can record your own, you can recite this. Yeah, we'll start the group. Yesterday it was quite some other things I could not just discuss with Balram Chittikro, and we'll put in the group, but Prabhuji was busy yesterday, so today we will try to find something. And another way is you recite the shlokas and you can play it while doing other activities. So it will go on, maybe some 50, 60 shlokas. You can just play that recording, your own. Yeah, we can play this, and you can recite this shlokas while doing your other activities, which you do mechanically. You are doing some Matajis at home, or Prabhuji's, any other activities we are doing. We just play this recording, you will easily remember. Sanskrit has this advantage. If you learn properly singing in a way, it sticks in our memory. We can remember. And once you start learning memorizing, and slowly, we get the habit, we can memorize many shlokas. Okay, one more time I'll say this. वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगः प्रयोजितः जन्यत्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च यतहैतुकम्. This next two shlokas will do. धर्मस्वनिष्ठितः पुंसां विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः नोत्पादयेत् इति रतिं श्रम एव हि केवलम्. धर्मस्वनिष्ठितः पुंसां विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः नोत्पादयेत् इति रतिं श्रम एव हि केवलम्. So, very simple. Dharma swanishtita pumsam. Dharma executed pumsam by humankind. Vishwaksena katasya. How it should be? It should help us develop. Vishwaksena is Krishna, katasya. It should develop what? Ratim. It should develop Rati to Vishwaksena kata. Now utpadayedidiritam. If it is not developing Rati, then Shrama evahi kevalam. It's quite simple. And we'll see this is the next verse which we are supposed to discuss. Now this is very important. People say you have to do your prescribed duties. So for them we have to use this slokas. So dharma is only for Vishwaksena Katarati. Any activity, it should develop Rati for Vishwaksena Kata. Vishwaksena. Now another here the next verse is okay. Another understanding of dharma. Why dharma should be performed? Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartor artayopakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhahi smritaha. Here dharma is for apavarga. We know pavarga, apabhama. Pa is parishram, pa is bandhan, bha is bhaya, and appa, bha and ma. So this is what is pavarga. But dharma is to get out of this pavarga. Dharma sehi apavargasya. Na artha upakalpate. It is not just for economic development. So not for artha is material gain, not for just economic development. And nartasya dharmaikantasya. Dharmaikantasya nartasya is material gain. Dharmaikantasya is for one who engage in ultimate occupation. Kama labha smritaha. And it is kama is sense gratifying, labha is attainment. Smrita is described by the great sages. So all occupational engagement are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. So dharmasya kantasya. It is actually the ultimate goal it should be attained. Otherwise, they should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupation service should never use material gain for cultivating sense gratification. Artha is not for kama and labha. It is not for kama labha. So when we are performing these activities, so we should not use our dharma. Dharma is not for dharma is only for apavarga. It is not for artha. It is not for kama. It is not for labha. This is a simple understanding. Dharma is only for apavarga. Na arthaya upakalpate. Na arthasya dharmaikantasya kama labha smrita. So it is not for any other activity other than this. So this is what you can understand. Dharmasya apavargasya nartho arataya upakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kama labha smrita. Now we'll see what Prabhupada is saying. We have already discussed that pure devotional service to Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material gain, material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange for religious or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literature, for all sorts of religious performances, an allurement of material gain is offered, and most people are attracted by such allurements or blessings of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires, which in turn satisfies sense gratification. This cycle of occupational engagement, including so-called religiosity followed by material gain and material gain followed by fulfillment of desires, sense gratification is the general way for all sorts of fully occupied men. But in the statement of Sudha Goswami, as per the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is nullified by the present shloka. One should not engage themselves in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. So here, basically, this one point is very nicely explained. Don't use dharma for sense gratification. It's quite clear. It is not, and dharma is only for apavarga. Just get out of this material world. Sense gratification, it will anyway come on its own. We need not do it separately. Whatever comes, we should more a person enjoys, more difficult for him to get out. Apavarga becomes more difficult for him because he's so attached, he's getting some pleasure. See, if a person is a big celebrity and is so handsome, for him, old age is such a great problem and his attachment to body increases because that body is giving him so much name and fame. For us, the attachment will be less if we are not celebrating. That means what? More you enjoy, more difficult, more painful. And that is the reason Shastra says, no, don't do so much. It is not for sense gratification. But senses are, but the gratification is there now. Why Lord made like that? Lord created because living entities who want to enjoy. But if you want to get something higher, then just don't do it. That's what is prescribed. And uh, perfect knowledge and detachment. Of course, this is very important. I just missed from our last shloka, Vasudevi Bhagavati. Just few points on that because it's such a important. Of course, we'll again come back to this in the fourth chapter because many things are going to be repeated, some of the concepts, but still we have to hear again and again so that our what happens is as a mirror, if you just keep dust falls on it regularly, we have to clean. Similarly, we have to hear about these concepts again and again so that it will not get diluted. So here, jnanam cha edahaitukam. By, sorry, yogena prayojite. Jnanam cha janesat vairagyam jnanam cha. So vairagyam and jnana, they automatically appear. No need to separately practice. No need to practice any vairagya. That is important. Some people are very, very austere. No need. It will come. What happens is when you perform bhakti, automatically we become detached from it. It should be a product of our bhakti. For us, austerity is not important. For us, hearing, chanting, reading, and some festivals, Ekadasi, following, that much is sufficient. No need of any other austerities. All other things automatically appear. The Vairagya automatically appears. It's a byproduct. And knowledge is also like that. No need of any cultivation of knowledge. Just read Bhagavatam, just chant the holy name, worship the Lord properly without offenses, consciously. That's all. 9 process is sufficient. What happens with people is they mix they have sweet rice, they think, oh, sweet rice, okay, it's little boring, let me mix some mirchi masala in it. You add some salt, you add some pepper, you add some. So mixing all these things is okay. Only bhakti, maybe some astrology is also good. We should go to the astrologer, and he will tell, okay, do this puja if you want to get this, chant this mantra, do this puja, go to this place and do. So this is a like mixing some salt in sweet rice. And then people say maybe ayurveda is also good. That is like some mirchi you are mixing. And maybe yoga is also good. Maybe I need to do some karma, some yajna in my house. So many days happened, no yajna happened in my house. And maybe this mantras are need to be chanted. I put some yantra here and something I should tie here. No need of any of these things. No need of any mantras. Just Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is what is pure devotional. If you mix any of the things, it is like sweet rice. You are adding so many other things into the sweet rice. You can add camphor. You can add some uh, saffron and all. That is like that is what will good. But if you are adding any other products, karma, yoga, jnana, see, if you want to have yoga and ayurveda, that is if you want to reduce your belly and have good sleep, for that only we should use, not to enhance any of this bhakti, not for gaining anything material. If you do it, then it is contaminated. Bhakti pure. You can do yoga, we can have ayurveda, we can have yoga just to increase the reduce the weight, reduce your stomach, or getting nice sleep or good health, but nothing more than that. It is just a process, that's all. Yeah. What should I repeat? Okay, Chandralekha Mataji.
Prabhuji, in this sloka, Vasudeva referring to Krishna unto Krishna, and Bhagavati unto the personality of Godhead. And in this Dharma Swanistita Pumpam Vishwakshena, Prabhuji, it's given in word by word meaning the personality of Godhead plenary portion, Prabhuji. But
Vishwaksena.
directly to the plenary portion means Vaha Vishnu, na Prabhuji?
I have to check with commentaries of Acharyas. Mataj, I also don't know. Maybe when Balram Pro takes this, he will give the commentary from Vishnu Chakra Thakur. I exactly don't know what it means. I will just check if Acharyas have given, and Prabhuji will take on it. So,
And also in Prabhuji Adokshaja, in the previous sloka, Savai Punsam Padodharmaya Dokshaja. Adoksha is the transitive. So are different, so not directly to Krishna, it's referring and
that means I don't know exact that why that word only used. Only for Vasudev, it is Sattam Vishuddham Vasudeva Satvitam. So it is a pure state of goodness. The bhakti is completely in a transcendental platform, which is beyond the three modes. That is Vasudeva Sattva. That is the reason Vasudeva is used. Vasudeva Bhagavati. That much I know, but beyond that, other words I don't know why they are used. Maybe when project comes, this is very soon going to be second chapter. Before that, we have to complete it. But because it is very important, of course, project is going to take very long time in this chapter. So I am also trying. It will be a revision for you. But some I don't know, Mataji, why that word used. We have to see the Acharya's commentary. And
because Prabhuji, I'm thinking like this.
Mataji, your voice is not audible.
Prabhuji, Bhagavatam is for the especially particularly to Krishna only, na? We are referring to the personality of Godhead referring to Krishna only, na?
Yeah.
Here the personality of Godhead we are referring to Shri Krishna only, na? The only Krishna, the supreme fountain has Godhead, na? That's why this plenary portion I'm just getting confused about it.
That is one of the name of Krishna, because all the plenary portions you can say it is Krishna only, and it is expansion of Krishna, but it is not different. In one way, it is not different from Krishna. Why that word used that places, I don't know the details. But any Krishna can be called with many. Narayana is also Adi Narayana is Krishna, Vasudeva is also Krishna, Adakshi is also Krishna, Urukram is also Krishna. So because they are all from Krishna, it is Krishna also in one way. It's not a problem because Lord Krishna can be addressed with many names. All the names are his own. uh, so in that way it is non-different. But still you can clarify with Prabhuji if he has read some in the Acharya's commentaries there, he will clarify it.
Okay, Ravi. And Prabhuji, about the memorization, so you will make a group and then you will send na which shloka we have to learn in those days, no? Because
Mataji, your
like we
voice
won't
I'm
be
not
able to
able to
get.
hear clearly.
Just one minute, Ravi. I'm asking like about the group shloka memorization. You will send the shlokas na, which we have to memorize in this that
Yes,
week,
yes,
na?
Mataji. Just
Because
today we
otherwise
will try
we
to.
know the important shloka, but you will give a target to us, not like 2 days or one day. You have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
memorize this. You will like homework. You will give na, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Mataji. First we'll
Okay.
start with first shloka of Bhagavatam. At least
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah, yeah. We are probably first chapter only, na. So I thought that this is just only you have like the way you have revised. This is the only we will do, na. So, but we have to memorize, na, Prabhuji, at
yes,
home. So you give us homework, like okay.
yeah. Yes, Srinivas Gopal Guru.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanut Pranam Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Dandavat, yes.
Prabhuji, I just heard some of the Vaishnava lectures. In that, Vishwasena is the Ganadipati of Vaishnavas. I mean, he's like for a Vishnu, he is a Ganadipati. Like Saivates, Ganapati is
They
a
have
Ganadipati,
Ganapati.
and he is a commander. Like for Vishnu and Vishnu Jana, he is the Ganadipati. Vishwasena. So Vishwasena is worshipped as a perennial portion of Vishnu only.
Yeah, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah, yes, bro.
So
So,
that's what I heard from some lecture, Prabhuji.
Vyasam Vasishtanaktaram Shaktir Potana Kalmasham Parasharatmajam Mante. Before that shloka is, yeah, this comes in second shloka of Vishnu Sahasranama. So, Sri
Yes,
Vaishnavas, they worship Vishwaksena
yeah,
only.
they worship Vishwasena as the Ganadipati and removal of obstacles. When they start any puja, it starts with Vishwasena.
Vishwaksena Puja, yeah.
Yeah, like normal karmic aunties and other they worship
Ganesh.
Ganesh
Hmm.
to remove the obstacles, to do any when they start any program or anything, they start worship first Ganadipati, Ganesh, and here Vaishnavas worship Vishwasena.
But why the word Vishwaksena used here, I don't know.
Because he is a protector and removal of obstacles of everything, no Prabhuji?
Vishwaksena Katha it is said, no? That I don't know. Why it is Vishwaksena
Okay,
Katha?
okay.
That is, it can be Krishna Katha,
Because
no?
he
It is,
is a part and parcel of Krishna itself, no Prabhuji? That's the main thing.
yeah, but we have to hear from Acharyas, we cannot speculate.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes,
What
Prabhuji.
Acharya
Yeah,
says, that's all. This is
yeah,
actually
that's
very
correct.
important for us that any shlokas, any doubt we come, it is not our own purpose. It should be if Acharya say, then only. If you don't know, we don't know. That's all. We cannot
Yeah,
speculate.
I heard from Sri Vaishnava Acharya only, very big Acharya.
Uh,
So
no,
yeah,
Vishwaksena
that's
word is correct, but in this shloka, why Vishwaksena is used, we cannot tell.
okay. That I
Vishwaksena
also
is correct. What you said is correct, but what I'm telling is, we don't know why this word is used here. That
yeah,
is,
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji, yes. That I
that
also
is.
want to know.
Yeah, we.
Thank you very
Uh,
much, Prabhuji. Thank you, thank you.
right. So
Hare
the
Krishna.
point is, it should not be mixed with jnana, karma, yoga, some pujas at home, rituals and all. No need of any rituals, no need of any yajna. Just Hare Krishna mantra, just 9 process of devotional service. I know they say, oh, some things are not good, this, that. Go to astrologer, he will tell, okay, you do this puja at this place, you perform this, you chant this mantras. All these things, they're mixing sweet rice, all this mirchi masala. We should not do. Our bhakti should be pure. No other place, no other person, only Krishna. Only Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pasyam. This is what our faith should be. See, we can do yoga and Ayurveda, pranayama, that's all. Apart from this, anything else. Astrology is only for matches, marriage compatibility match. Apart from that, no need only. If see, for other people they can go. For devotees, all the grahas, Padma Purana they say Krishna manifests as all the grahas, and for devotees, it's Krishna only. So Guru problem, Shukra problem, oh so much Shani is there. I have now when Mercury will come in my life. It is all Krishna only. Whoever is there, for us it is Krishna. So we have to please Krishna. That's all. Okay. So here it is okay. It is said that okay, dharma we should not. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, about this marriages, as you were telling, like caste is also we have to see or not. Like for boy and girl, caste should be seen or not.
Compatibility. Caste is basically for compatibility. If a Brahmana is there and if he's marrying somebody who is of a different, is a Kshatriya order and Brahmana, if it is not compatible, then whole life they will already, it is very complicated. Our body and mind are so complicated. And we have to live with somebody whose body and mind are very complicated. The whole system is only complicated system, the marriage system. And in that, if you bring somebody who are of different natures, then it becomes more difficult. So it's not based on caste, it's based on compatibility. If even though it is other caste, but if it's compatible, it is more easy. But generally, caste does not have compatibility. Like Kshatriya and Shudra and Brahmana and Shudra, then sometimes there will be problem with compatibility. That's why I prefer it in the caste, because at least they understand the some cultural aspects and family aspects they can match. Otherwise, they'll not match with. It's not wife and husband. It's whole family. You should match with other people in the family also. So all these things are considered.
Yeah,
So
Prabhuji,
that's
but like in Shastra, it said like wife should be of lower, like if the husband is of the boy is of a Brahman caste, then she should be of Kshatriya, lower than the boy. But Prabhuji, now people don't know now they're Brahman, Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya. So these castes,
now no
the
upload
surnames is
Mataji.
the caste, Prabhuji. Surname
It
is this
is
Kshatriya, Vaishya and all.
now we just have to go by little bit astrology. It is compatible. Go because in Kali
Okay.
Yuga it's all mixture. Matajis are no more like Vedic style. They are also working. They are also equal with men. So there is no upload. Both of them are. One of them need securities. One of them need emotional support. Men need emotional support. Women need security. So that is the only criteria now. As far as I understand, I am not so expert in this also, but this is my understanding, and it's just you have to see how much is my tolerance level and this much amount I can tolerate. So you try to get somebody of that level whom you can tolerate. If you go something beyond your tolerance, family, it should be good in the family. You will be able to tolerate. Somebody is very passionate and very active. Then you need to have somebody like that only. If somebody is very passive and no is very sattvic, then it will not match. So it's not basically caste. It should be the match also. In the family, everybody is like very passionate and no, they want to achieve something. And you bring somebody who's very simple and no, it will not match. You have to have equally aggressive and some families are very sattvic. So you should get somebody like that. So based on what type of family you have and what type of nature you have, based on that you have to select.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Monica.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When sometimes what happens that some mismatch is there in astrological matching in marriage, so they suggest some vidhi. So doing that vidhi is also, I mean, favorable for devotees, or we should not take part in that vidhi.
No need, Mataji. All vidhis can be accomplished if you sincerely both wife and husband sit and read Bhagavatam, discuss Bhagavatam, chant together, worship the Lord. all the other vidhis are accomplished. No need
But
of any
it is
vidhis.
not our sole decision now. Other party must also be convinced.
For them, if you want to do, you do it. But no, don't have faith on it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Don't keep faith on that. You can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sham Mukund Pro sharing. Like Avanti Brahman, we should only pray to all demigods that please bless me to advance in devotional service and nothing else. Yeah. We should have Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Yes. We don't need anything. We just, that is what is that is what is Mamjo Abhyavichara Bhakti. We just have to do pure devotional service. That is the faith we should have on Bhagavatam. Just Bhagavatam, you read, everything is there in Bhagavatam. Everything can be achieved in Bhagavatam. All desires are fulfilled by Bhagavatam. That's what. And we'll be completely satisfied. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Bhajane Tyas Vairagyam Jnana. All the things come and Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radokshire Ahaituki Apratiyata. Yatma Suprasija. With some more points we'll discuss tomorrow. I'll read purports. So now, okay, dharma is only for apavarga. But then what about my sense gratification? Kamasya na indriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa narto echaya karmabhi. So this is a very difficult verse for materialistic to digest. These two verses. It is said kamasya na indriya priti. It says life desires should not be directed for sense gratification. Alright, then what all things I am earning and all these things are there? For what all these things? So then, uh, so it is said that one should desire only a healthy life. And nartho you know, kamasya nendriya priti labho jivete yavata. Labho jivete yavata means it is for self preservation only. That much only. How much you need for having a comfortable house and some food and nice shelter. That's all. And remaining all time should be jivasya tattva jignasa only. That's all. Whole life we should spend maybe 8 to 10 hours for our maintenance and all these things, and remaining all time should be given for self realization. What happens is people use 15-20 hours, 15 hours for making their economic gain, all these things. But Bhagavatam said, no, don't waste time for that, because nothing else should be once birth. Because since human narto yachya karma bhi, nothing else should be. So kamasya is not for indriya, is only for jivasya tattva jignasa. So just to keep whatever is basic, bare minimum for us. That's all. We may say, Prabhu, my bare minimum is okay. Your bare minimum is the time should not be utilized for maintaining yourself. You need to have. That's why material stability is also very important. We'll see what Prabhupada says. Purport. The completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards fulfilling of desires and sense gratification. In such civilization, in all spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. In politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion or even in salvation, the very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly predominant. In the political field, the leaders of men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders only when they promise sense gratification. As soon as the voters are dissatisfied in their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leaders. The leaders must always disappoint the voters by not satisfying their senses. The same is applied in all other fields. No one is serious about the problems of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with the Absolute and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only in so much as required for self-preservation, not for sense gratification, because the body is made of senses, which also requires certain amount of satisfaction. There are regulative directions for satisfaction of such senses. The senses are not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. For example, marriage or the combination of man and woman is necessary for progeny, but it is not meant for sense gratification. In the absence of voluntary restraint, there is a propaganda for family planning. But foolish men do not know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is search for after the absolute truth. Seekers of the absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in sense gratification because the serious students seek the absolute truth are always overwhelmed with the work of researching the truth. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the absolute truth, and that sort of engagement will make one happy because he will be less engaged in varieties of sense gratification. And what that absolute truth is explained as follows. So, one is everybody is for sense gratification. Second is what is told that uh, senses need some gratification. We should not torture them, but that should not be the only purpose. Give some satisfaction to them. Give nice prasadam. You can have nice, comfortable things, but it should not be the only purpose. Now, then how mind is always going for sense gratification. That's why you engage your mind in searching after the absolute truth. Then mind will not go for it. After maintaining bare minimum, you ate, and no whole day after eating breakfast, you always think of lunch, what to eat. After eating lunch, eating about what I will eat in the snacks. And after that, you think of what is dinner. No, because you don't have the mind is not engaged in higher truth. Mind is engaged in sense gratification. You only want to eat, eat, eat. And no, the purpose of life is just eat and clear the stomach. That's how it will become. But if we have the higher purpose, the search for the absolute truth, and what is that absolute truth is the next shloka. So this is also shloka to memorize. This is the first shloka I memorize. Vadanti tat tat vidas tattam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaditi shabdyate. Vadanti tat tat vidas tattam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. Vadanti tat tat vidas tattam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. Learn transcendentalist to know the absolute truth, called its non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Vadanti, who says Tattvavidas, who are the knowers of the truth. They say this Jnanam is Advayam. Advaya Jnanam is undivided, and it is realized in three forms: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavani, Idi Shabdate. They say it is sounded like that. So we'll end here. We will. We will. Yes, Kalpana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I had put one question in the chat. What is that per varga you said? Actually, I missed out that line. Per varga, you have to go out, you have to go and reach upper varga. The per varga you said four aspects.
Okay, pa is pa bha bha ma. Pa is parishram. Bha is you have bandhan. Pa bha is bandhan. Then there is bhaya. Then
I couldn't hear Prabhuji. Ma is
mrityu.
Mrityu. Okay, fine. And Prabhuji, in the initial, when you started the lecture, you said some reference from 11th canto. I want to know the words which it is. You said what is the diagnosis we need to understand so that we can practice bhakti. Why we have to do bhakti?
Bhayam vidya abhiniveshatasya. I'll just tell the shloka number.
Shloka number.
Amrita Madhavi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes,
Amrita Madhavi Mataji, you asked a question.
Pa is pena, Prabhu. Pa parishrama, what you said. Pa is pena. I don't know the meaning of pena. This is what I've heard repeatedly in Radhesham Prabhu's class. Then ba, you said ba, bhaya, bandhana and all that. Then ma, I don't know whether it's mrityu, I forgot. But pa, big pa is pena.
No, Mataji, it's not pena. I'll tell what exact word is. Pa is parishram. Apais, then I think you get up, you get phala, you get result, I think. I will tell exact word. It's not Fena. I heard, but it's not Fena. It is wrong.
Okay,
Of course,
I don't
not
know.
wrong. No, Fena is also right. I think Prabhupada had said someplace, but there is one more word. I think both are right. Fena is also right. But there is one more. Fena is you get foam from mouth, but actually it is one more word is also there. I'll find out and later.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.